Hello and welcome back. And as always, it's great to see you here on the channel. Now I'm spending a fair bit of time here at the beautiful Grampians National Park, and I wanted to give you a bit of an update on how I'm traveling since I changed the upload schedule to YouTube a few months ago now. And now you might remember I had a bit of a rant about how the YouTube algorithm was exhausting me and how I can't keep feeding the machine that is YouTube by uploading weekly videos. Now, of course, I did that for over 2 years, and there's no doubt that my channel actually grew because of the constant uploads. But behind the scenes, I was always just that little bit wary of the consequences of such a commitment. I was constantly on the lookout for the telltale signs of burnout, and sure enough, in fact, quite suddenly it hit me, and I can remember feeling like I was backing myself into a creative corner. And the first thing to suffer when you produce content simply to keep the numbers turning over is originality and quality footage, and probably the story behind the images may have become less engaging. Now, I pride myself on trying to go the extra mile to capture interesting B-roll footage to help convey the story in an interesting and genuine way. In fact, I love nothing more than getting the drone up to shoot an epic landscape, or perhaps to include the car driving along a country road. But of course, this takes an incredible amount of extra time, and that's probably the first thing that leaves you when in that state of initial burnout. In fact, it becomes just too much trouble. Anyway, you all know the story as I related it to you back then, and consequently, I stopped churning out weekly videos. So how are things going now? Well, since that time, I've actually been out shooting nightscapes quite a few times without actually documenting the journey on film at all. You see, I'd always previously created a video with each of these shoots. I had to, because it was the only way I could keep the numbers up to feed the machine. But by taking that pressure off, I was suddenly able to take my time and actually choose my photography adventures based on what images I'd like to capture, rather than how I was going to create and craft the whole thing into a video story. This is where it gets really interesting. You see, I actually love creating video content. I've been doing video for as long as photography, and often hand in hand. So generally, it's not something that I find challenging, and it's something I enjoy the creative process involved in making films. And that's why I was feeling the burnout with the content on YouTube. I think it comes back to the motivation for doing what we do. You see, if the motivation is to get out into the landscape and enjoy the creative process, then no worries at all. I'll be out there in a heartbeat. But if the motivation is to simply keep up to a self-imposed schedule just for the sake of keeping the numbers ticking over, then perhaps the spark just wasn't there. For me, doing the work I do and marrying that with the creative process of making art, whether that be photo or video, well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Anyway, since I changed my mindset, I'm definitely feeling more and more content with my decision. The numbers are down, and I knew that was going to happen. But all of you who faithfully tune into my channel are still there every time I upload new content. And for that, I am eternally grateful. It means the world to me that you continue to support and encourage me in the work I do. You know, this genre of photography isn't really mainstream, and lots of people just scroll on past my little channel when searching for the next big thing in photography. I'm guessing that's not going to change anytime soon, but that's okay with me now. And another thing that I'm changing is the way I compare myself to others. It's something I find myself advising others to not do that. Don't compare yourself with what others do and with everyone else. And that's how it's supposed to be. But, you know, it's hard not to sometimes, isn't it? You are you, and that's how it's supposed to be. Be the best version of you that you can possibly be. And no one else can do that better than you can. Now, I'm talking to myself here, so that's okay. So in the past couple of months, I've been able to get away for some photography road trips, and I've always known that for me, these trips are necessary to refill the creative tank and I guess reset myself to get my mind and my heart in sync. And this is vital to the overall creative process, and it really does work. It can be expensive, but it's certainly worth the effort. If you've been following my channel, you'd know that I spent 3 weeks recently in Tasmania, and that gave me the opportunity to shoot hundreds of images and as well as countless hours of video content. I felt so refreshed and enthusiastic, and whilst traveling around the beautiful landscape of areas of Tasmania, well, what else would it be? It's a great place to seek inspiration, and I can truly say that I found an abundance of it down there. Watching the ocean roll into a rock-filled shoreline without any particular time restraints is quite liberating. Seeing mountain ranges disappearing into the distance as far as the eye can see does wonders for your soul. And watching the aurora australis dance across a star-filled sky, well, that's just the icing on the cake. My whole 3 weeks were summed up in that one night. Make the time to get yourself into a place that gives you joy and contentment. In fact, sometimes you won't even know where that place is until you find it. But I tell you what, the magic is in the journey. It's a long journey and it's probably never quite fulfilled, but that's quite okay by me. Now, I remember talking audibly to myself while watching this aurora that night. Where on earth would I rather be right now? And I made that long trip to Lake Pedder in southwest Tasmania in search of clear skies, but I found so much more than that in that moment of time. Now, it's funny really, because at the time I had 3 cameras running. I was putting myself in the frame doing selfies, and all the time still talking to myself, perhaps encouraging my inner self to keep going and not to miss anything. But in all that running around, I can distinctly remember feeling so calm and overjoyed at the sight that was unfolding before me. Look, I'm not sure I'll ever see anything like it again. Who knows? But I do know that sometimes small decisions can be life-changing. And I reckon the decision to take the pressure off myself with YouTube uploads and instead take photography road trip to Tasmania or over here to the Grampians pays off big time. Now, ironically, I did record this amazing occasion and it will be on my YouTube channel very soon. And maybe it already has, depending on when you're viewing this particular video. So, strangely enough, my decision to cut back on my YouTube upload schedule has actually enabled me to create more content and get some amazing footage and experiences along the way. In fact, I've had more material to edit and create this past month or so than any time this year to date. It's ironic. It just goes to show that when we release the pressure valve and give ourselves a change of scenery, the creative energy really starts to flow. And that's why I'm here in the Grampians again. Is it for the photography? Well, you know, to be honest, it's not really. It's so I can continue to refuel myself and create another chapter in that book of memories, good memories, happy place memories. A new book I'm writing in this stage of my photography life. Hey, I'll get there one day. You know, this is the 5th year in a row that I've made my way over here to this amazing place. And once again, I've caught up with some of the fellow photographers, the boys who I've met here before. And it's been an awesome time just chatting and chewing the fat with those guys. Rain, hail or shine, this is an amazing place to visit, and I just love coming here. Look, well, you've made it this far in the video, and once again, I really want to thank you so much for tuning in and for your continued support. It is so important to me, and I'll never ever take it for granted. So, until I see you all again, I think I might just go for a leisurely little wander around this beautiful place and see what I can inspire myself with for maybe the next video. Who knows? Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you again soon.